The most difficult parts in creating my documentary, I would say, can be divided up into three portions. First is choosing a topic. I found extremely difficult. I found the solution when I thought about just my career at UTS and what I spent most of my time on, which was an extracurricular called DECA. And even if I thought about DECA and everything around me, it was advertising. And immediately when you think of advertising is how it objectifies women and how persuasive it can be in letting consumers purchase a product. Next, I would say were the facts. The facts I included in my documentary, I was actually inspired by looking at other professional documentaries. And when they showed their facts, they were very well portrayed with detailed animations that took a lot of time and money to do. And I didn't have such resources. But I thought, why not do the complete opposite? Instead of having an elaborate and detailed animation accompany some of the facts, I can do a plain black background with a white text, and then my audience can see and focus on the facts instead of the animations that help emphasize, but instead do the opposite and emphasize the facts alone. Next was the editing. I found that extremely difficult because of the intensity that I wanted to incorporate, and I wanted to have two climaxes in my documentary. The first were used with the editing of advertising that objectify women. So it was some of the 5 brands I used at the beginning, and the next was when some of my interviewees learned that Axe and Dove were owned by the same company and their reactions. So those were the two climax I included, and it was very difficult editing those into making it as intense as possible, but I thought they were very successful, even though I found it hard to do. I chose to include no narration in my documentary because I found the strongest ones to be without any narration. The audience is intelligent enough to figure out through the interviews, the facts, the archival footage um, that what the director is telling them, it doesn't have to be so blatant, and that no overarching character, such as a narrator, has to force feed the audience what they need to believe in or what they need to be informed in. I found this job much more difficult to do though. Editing was a longer process, I believe, but I think it was worth the effort um, in showing that the audience is intelligent enough to get the points I needed to come across, that they could do it themselves. If I had to choose one thing to make my documentary better, it would be including a wider range for my interviewees. So that would include professionals in the advertising industry, women in that same industry, as well as feminists who have an opinion on this, and just average women who are older, I would say, because I am lacking in that demographic. Um, but I would say that um, including young men in this documentary was still strong because it does matter what they have to say about this. It's not just women who care about this issue. So, yep, one thing I would change is including a broader depth in my interviews.